want to do... Oh, shit, I got to pull these guys off gas. If I want to do a smart Speedling Expo, do I want to get the queen first or second? Like, before or after the hatch?
What do you mean your queen? Like, your first queen?
Yeah.
You definitely want to get your first queen the moment your spawn pool finishes.
Cool.
And definitely when you do this build, you want to get a second queen before your hatchery finishes. Larva is just extremely important here. Even in ZvT, ZvP, when you do these expos, you do want to have, you don't want to build your second queen on your expo, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
You don't have two prepared before that. That's one of the big things. And you do see that he's pretty much saying an identical build you, or at least the timings.
I know we lost a couple lings, so I feel like I have an advantage. Or I had one until now. And is it too early for me to put down a baneling nest?
Yeah, it's definitely not too early for you to put down baneling nest, as long as you have the gas mined, you know.
Yeah, I like to sometimes leave one guy on gas. Is that a mistake?
Not really. It's just kind of like a preference of how, I mean, all these steps cost APM and things like that. It's hard to take 3 guys off and put them all on. A lot of times it might be easier, or if you forget a little bit, in the heat of the micro, you might miss putting them on fast enough. It just gives you some leeway, kind of. And when you're doing this, making an early baneling nest, you do want to force it, like a force of very heavy Zergling, or like very heavy Zerglings early from both people. You don't want, like, what you don't want the most is if he can get away with going Speedling Roach and you not doing anything with the banelings, And especially if you're going Speedling Baneling early like this, you don't want to fight before, you don't want to trade not very well before your banelings come up. If you're going to trade, you want to trade really strongly. Because, like I said, if you go Speedling Roach and you go Speedling Baneling, the more Zerglings there are when the banelings come out, the better, If, like, you trade all your Zerglings for his, and then your rally is, 5 banelings, and his rally is 5 roaches, then he's going to crush you, Ideally, you want to have 40 Zerglings and 5 banelings versus 40 Zerglings and 5 roaches.
What is your opinion on crashing banelings into larva?
Larva? I don't think I'd ever try to crash into larva. I don't know. I mean, it could not be bad. I just never thought about it like that. I mean, the thing is, if you're close enough to smash your banelings and their larva, that means you're inside their main mineral line anyways.
Right.
You're right at their base. So I mean, I would just go for something else, like their drones.
Okay, so
it might not necessarily be bad, but I mean, if you have a choice of blowing up their larva and their main, that means you're right. Like, you're killing them already, kind of.
Man, I feel you laughed at my question. I feel bad now.
It's not. It's just kind of. It's just kind of weird.
You hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings, StrifeCro. So, all right, so he GG'd there. I don't know how closely you were watching that game, but I'm kind of curious. What is your opinion on what went down there? How do you feel that went?
I think that went pretty good for you. The only things I would change are the fact that, like, because of your tech path, you kind of want to play different. You went for the quick baneling nest. So when you go for a quick baneling nest, banelings are like the ultimate support for very heavy Zergling armies, but you were kind of trying to trade a lot of Zerglings before your baneling nest got up, like running them in its base and like having a lot of small battles. And the only problem is it could have gone badly for you if you traded all your Zerglings for his Zerglings, and then then you'll both have pretty much 0 Zerglings, and then your baneling nest finishes, and you morph some Zerglings into banelings, and then he just gets roaches out and has 5 roaches.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you just pretty much wasted the whole baneling tech, because by the time that your baneling nest got up and your banelings came into play, there were no Zerglings on either side. I mean, so it's like banelings are good versus Zerglings, but they're terrible versus roaches. So you kind of want when you morph banelings for them to be as heavy lean as possible.
Okay. So all right.
So you definitely don't want to trade Zergling versus Zergling if you're going to have a baneling nest coming up.
So if the banes are on the way, basically preserve our lings as long as possible because they become
for both sides. Unless you're trading extremely well, if you have like 20 lings versus 5, you just gank them.
Yeah.
Also, if you somehow see that he's going Speedling baneling as well, it doesn't matter. It's probably equal for both sides, But it's hard to, Zerg you definitely don't have map hacks, so Speedling into Roach is extremely common as well, so you do kind of, in general, want to play better versus both banelings and roaches,
All right, so I had one more question, and and I forgot it because my feelings were still hurt that you laughed at my last question. So, okay, so instead of that, I'll just say we're on Lost Temple now. How much better is Hatch First than Speedling Expand? Because I'll tell you, I'm more comfortable going Speedling Expand than I am going Hatch First.
I think Speedling Expand is only at a small disadvantage, but I do feel like it is a disadvantage on these maps, Speedling Expand versus Hatch First. The one base Speedling Baneling is at a gigantic disadvantage versus Hatch First on these maps, but Speedling Expand is definitely playable, and it definitely will depend on how good the other guy is at making decisions and macroing up from the Hatch First versus Speedling Expand. Because one of the things is it's much harder for him to play that than you, because you can pretty much Speedling Expand. You have map control. It's pretty hard for you to make too many mistakes,
Yeah.
Whereas he has to decide, how much defenses he's going to make,
forcing
and things
him to be
like that.
responsive.
So it really depends, but I feel like if both people are playing really well, you will be at a disadvantage, at a non-negligible disadvantage. But I don't feel like it's totally unplayable either way.
Okay. Well, if you feel that way, then I probably will continue to go Speedling Expand. I don't want to be like, no, your advice is bad. I don't want to go Hatch First. But I'll tell you, my gripe about Hatch First is that certainly when I'm controlling it, because I don't have really good control. Like early pool builds kill me just outright. So I worry
you mean
about
like
that.
a 14 gas, 14 pool?
No, like if I go 15 hatchery and somebody goes 9
Oh.
or some crap like that.
Yeah,
I
like a early
die.
pool.
I just fold.
Yeah.
I don't have.
It depends on the map. On Shakurs, I've gotten like 6 pulled quite a bit when I've gone Hatch First, and I've always found it extremely easy just to kill them with drones. One of the things is I feel like a lot of people fight Zergling versus drone in very bad spots because 6 Zerglings come in your base, you usually have around 15 drones, so it's 15 on 6. But a lot of people just try to make as close on 6 as possible. They just camp all their drones with their mineral line, and then the Zerglings make like a line on between your mineral line and your hatchery, and pretty much it's going to be like 6 drones fighting 6 Zerglings until some drones die, and then you're going to replace them. But pretty much when I go Hatch First and I get 6 pulled, I kind of just pull all my drones out to the middle of the map, not middle of the map, but like middle of my base, not in a choke, so I can fight as close to 15 on 6 as possible.
Right.
And you can always trade extremely well like that.
And
you can kind of just run around outside and and they have to fight you pretty soon, or else your own Zerglings are going to come, and then they're just going to waste their Zergling advantage. So.
Okay, well, all right, we'll try it. We'll try Hatch First. We'll see how it goes. You can tell me what I'm doing wrong with it.
All right.
And this will be our last game, and then we'll go ahead and take some questions for ZvZ. And we'll go ahead and say thank you so much again for coming on and sharing your limitless knowledge.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I ate some day-old pizza, and it's not sitting so well.
I'm gonna go to Korean barbecue tonight.
Oh man, I hate you so much.
I'm going right after this, I think.
My girlfriend and I have this Korean spot here in downtown where we go probably 3 nights a week.
Oh, it's really good, huh?
Yeah, so we're like regulars there. And last week I took my sister, And all the little Korean ladies working there give me the dirtiest looks because they thought I was on a date with another girl.
Yeah.
I felt so awkward. I couldn't make eye contact with any of them.
Stare at the wall.
Pretty much. But I do love Korean food. It is so good.
Yeah. So I like the spicy vegetables.
Yeah, man.
Well, and all the meat is good.
Of course. Obviously he's not there. I would see the creep by now. So I don't see him in the close air position. Does that mean I should send a drone scout?
It depends what build you are. I feel like if you're going hatch first, you definitely want to send a drone scout out to see if he's also hatch firsting or going, you know, a speedling build. A lot of times when I'm going a speedling build myself, like 14-14, I pretty much just won't scout because I feel like it's fine versus everything.
Yeah,
it's not.
I do the same thing.
It's not like an imperative for me to know right away. I mean, I'll eventually scout with the overlords or the zerglings that come out. You know, it doesn't really change anything.
Okay, so better get this hatchery down. He is cross map, so even if he is doing something silly, then I should feel pretty confident against it.
Yeah.
Cross map, would you go up to 16 to put that pool down?
I mean, it depends if you want to be safe versus like 6 full or something, but 6 full is really rare. I probably wouldn't do it versus 6 full, but versus the other builds I would build a couple. So it's just depending on how if you want to play a little bit risky to take slight advantages for some builds.
Oh wait, no, that's not a big deal.
Huh?
Why did I feel like that was such a fast pool?
That's just a standard.
Why would he drone scout if he's doing that? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what is my next, you know, thought process here? Do I want to get a spine crawler?
Well, first thing is you want to put your overlord over their natural. I mean, you want to see if he's doing an expo build or a one base all in, like a speeding baneling build. But pretty much, yeah, you do want to get a spine crawler. I would get your gas as soon as you see that he expos as well, and I wouldn't get it until then, or until you know, like something ticks off that you know he's going to expand. The first thing is you want to build 2 queens right after your pool finishes, and if he's going, you know, if he's speeding baneling, busting him, you want to put your 2 queens on the ramp. And I'd just get a spine crawler as well. You do want to get zerglings here too.
I'm gonna make 6. Do I need more than 6?
I'd make 8 zerglings, like 8 to 10. Pretty much when I do that, I save up the 3 larvae and have 1 larva in my natural for the 8 zerglings. Just because if you don't get 8 zerglings, your spine crawler will actually die here to his rallies sometimes. Like you need zerglings to hold your spine crawler from building. And you do see that he's expoing as well, so you definitely want to switch out from the, you know, just the defensive play.
Drone. I've added my gas when I saw the expo.
I would probably not start by spreading, using my first creep tumor on spreading creep there. I don't feel like it's very important to spread creep between your main or natural right now.
Yeah.
Maybe ever in ZvZ, unless the go mutas, but
that's a terrible force of habit for me. I always like to get creep early down in the other matchups, and then here in this one, I don't even know why I don't normally do that.
And you should. I feel like, you know, once you inject your main, you should move your queen down to your natural for both of them and your natural for a bit. Just because at this point, like he can run through your ramp, and it could get ugly sometimes. I would definitely keep. Basically, I would keep my 2 queens on the ramp until I have my own speedlings or a little bit more control.
I'm gonna make a 3rd queen here for reasons that we have noted previously. I'm making a couple more zerglings. Is there any need for me to get extra spine crawlers?
No. I mean, you can't play defensive. You know, he's expoed as well. So I would actually not get a 3rd queen either because of the fact that he expoed. If he was from 1 base, I would do it because, you know, you want to play more defensive. But you can't afford to play that defensive when he did expo as well. Once you get your own speed up, you do want to like try to have some presence in the middle of the map with your own zerglings. But because your speed was kind of so late this game, your map control is going to come fairly late. So I feel like at this point you should definitely just skip the banelings and go roaches. Yeah.
Okay. What do you, should I put my roach warren down in the natural to kind of create a bit of a wall?